Thanks for joining me here on the Ozzstar Cars channel. I'm Glenn. Today's fun project, got this 98 Dodge Ram 1500 behind me. Back in the day, you could actually call these a Dodge. Well, now it's just Ram, right? Anyway, the problem we have here with this truck is the horn is not working. So I want to take you under the hood and let's diagnose it. Let's find out what's going on. I'll show you a wiring diagram, show you all different parts, some electrical testing situation, and we'll take it from there. Hopefully we get it fixed shortly. I'll pull it up to the garage. Let's get on it. So let me show you where the horn is located on these trucks. They're on the right front side, right down here on the inside of the fender well. So that's our horn right there. And this one only has one now. Some of these trucks have two horns. Let me show you the wiring diagram. So when you honk the horn, this would be your steering wheel switch. There's a button on the left and the right on the next to the airbag there. That would actually ground the circuit and cause the horns to blow. So right here, we come up to this right there. Here's our relay control side. Now this says 20 amp. I believe that this actually has a 10 amps fuse. But anyhow, we'll check that if we need to. When you hit the horn, right here, control side, this closes the relay, sends power right down here. There's a connector to our horn, in this case one horn, and then right here down into ground. Okay, let's take a look inside this sweet mama jamba here. Anyhow, I noticed we got some sweet Santa Fe mats that fit just perfectly in the old Dodge Ram. Anyway, let me give you an idea of how this all works in case you're trying to diagnose your own problem. Now, it might not be the horn, it might not be the fuse, it might not be the relay, it might be in the horn switch. So in this 98, I believe it's just the switch here. There's like contacts where some newer vehicles, or not some, but most of them, are gonna have a clock spring in there, which basically, if you have controls in your steering wheel, like the radio or cruise control stuff, that all goes through the clock spring, but I don't want to confuse you with that. This, I believe, just has the switch in here behind this airbag. So basically, when you push on this center piece, you're completing the contact, or you're making contact and completing the circuit by grounding it. So this horn in this particular vehicle is what we call ground side switched. So you need to complete that ground, and of course it will let the power flow through. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. And then your horn blasts, right? That's the load. So anyway, when you push this here and complete that, what you're doing is you're sending power to that relay that's under the hood, and you'll see that here in this video. We're going to check that, and what that does is on the control side, it's going to allow the load side contacts to close, and then that's going to send power to the horn. So it's like this side and that side. It's basically, this is the control here, and then you have the load side, which is actually doing the work. Anyway, that's how that works. This is basically just a contact or a switch is all this is behind here in this case. So anyway, if you did need to replace the headlamp switch, check this out. You got easy access right here. Get right to that sucker. Boom, there you are. Nice, I like it. Anyhow, let's get under the hood and have some more fun. So let's double check. Let's make sure the truck owner is on the money here and doesn't have a horn blowing. I've got my helper in the truck. She doesn't want to be put on camera, so we'll keep her out of it. We'll have to blur her face if we have to, but she's got her hands on there. All right, Haley, go ahead and push on the horn. Now, you don't have to have the key on or ignition on to have this horn work. Nothing's going on, right?
No.
Okay. All right, so the next step, what we want to do is actually come down here to the horn, disconnect this connector right here. Okay. Now, if you had two horns, you could disconnect both of them, but we're just going to do it this way. First thing I do is look into the connector, make sure we don't have anything crazy going on, like any corrosion or any type of rust or something like that, which rust is corrosion, right? This one's clean. I don't see any problem there. What I want to do now is two ways to check this. We could use a test light, and or we could use a DVOM, a multimeter. So why don't we do both? Let's see if we have voltage here. The test light is the quick and dirty one, but I want to show you both in case you don't have one or the other. So here's our connector, and I've got some back probes here. One's red, one's black. It doesn't matter what color. And in fact, right now we're not even worried about which is which, but I can tell you from looking at the wiring diagram, there's a black wire here. That's our ground. The green with the red stripe, the trace, that is the power. So let's back both of them right now. Let me get this in here. And I'll get my hand out of the way. Hopefully you can see okay. There we go. That one's in. And let me get this one in over here. All right, make sure that these do not touch when you hit the horn switch if your circuit is operational. We don't want them to short circuit. Now what I'll do is, I've got a DVOM with some alligator clips. I'm just going to probe that or clamp onto that, and then I'll clamp onto this one. Being careful. There we go. So that's our setup right now. Now I'll get you up here on the voltage on the screen. We're set to 12 volts here, 20 volt scale, I think is what this one is. Let me get the glare. All right, now helpers in the truck. Go ahead, it's showing we have like some ghost voltage, they call that. Haley, go ahead, hit the horn. Tell me when you're hitting it. Pushing it? Okay, so nothing's happening. So what we can do is, just to verify, well, I don't even really need to at this point, but we've got our test light right here. So let me hook this over here. And like I said, it's not going to matter which direction you go, whether you're on the power side or the ground side. We're just seeing if this circuit is being completed. So let me hold the light on here. Hopefully you can see my test light. I can't see the screen. Go ahead and hit the horn again. Pushing it? Okay, so we have nothing. So since we have no power here, we can do, well, we'll go check the fuse, but we can also check the ground right now to see if we have a good ground. All right, so here's what I want to do now. Since I pulled out the positive side over there of my DVOM, and what I'm going to do is take that, I'm going to bring it over to battery positive. So you can't see what I'm doing, but I'll show you in just a second. And I'm still hooked to the ground side of the connector, which is the black wire right here. Now you can see that we have 12.52. Okay, so that's battery voltage. I'm hooked. The red side of the DVOM's over here in battery positive. We're hooked to the ground side. So that's good right there. And that tells us that our ground is good to this connector right here. So we're missing power, meaning we need to go to the fuse box next. So this is our fuse box right here. And let me pop this open. Sorry for any shaky camera action. This is nice. Chrysler recognizes the fuses here. So if we look down here, here's our horn relay. And what do we got here? Get you in closer. Number 4 up is 10 amp horn right here where my thumb is. All right, you can see that right there. So another cool way to check this real quick and dirty, to see if you're having a power issue like we are, that the relay should click when the horn switch is pushed. So if we have power, the power's coming through this fuse and it's going to be hot here at the relay. So when you push the switch on the steering wheel, closes that relay like we saw in the wiring diagram, and then would send power over there to the horn. So let me look right here. Our horn relay is 3 up. So we got an empty. These are for fog lights, and then this one's our relay. So Haley, go ahead, push the, I didn't hear it clicking before, but go ahead, push the horn on. Pushing it? Okay, yeah, we don't know if you're pushing it. Anyway, there's no noise. There's no sound. Now, that doesn't mean that the fuse is bad. You could have a bad relay. But in this case, let's go to this 10 amp right here. I'll get a small pair of needle nose. Let's pop that out and let's see how that looks. But before we even do that, let's get our test light, because with these type of fuses, let me disconnect it right here. Here's our test light. Let me zoom you out here so you guys don't get too dizzy. Here's how we can test it. These are cool. These little fuses give you a little test port on top. So I'm over here at battery negative. Okay, I'm at ground. Check your light. Make sure it works. Okay, should glow. You can see that right there. Let's get that out of the way. Now, when you touch both sides of these fuses, your test light should light. So let's go number 4 up here. Be in there, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. See it? See that it lights up? Okay. Go to this side. And we have nothing. Okay. All right. Well, let me prove my point here. So let's go 3 up. What's number 3 up is the, I don't know, it says 10 amp trans. So something for the transmission here. Let's try that. So we touch this side, it lights up. Touch that side, it lights up. Okay, so I rest my case. So let me get that pair of pliers and yank this out because we should have power on both sides. All right, so we're on the right one here, number 4. Let me yank this up. Okay, set that over here. And I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, you can. That sucker right there is popped. It's blown. So the next step is we have to wonder, why did the fuse blow? Something shorted. Is it in the wiring? Is it in the switch? Something went crazy. But in the meantime, I'll get a 10 amp fuse and we'll replace this fuse real quick. We'll see if it blows right away. And if it doesn't, now what I like to do is, if I'm suspect of something shorting out, see how this is unhooked right now? It's unplugged. So let me just plug in a new fuse, which I have right over here. This is a 10 amp. I'm going to replace the 10 amp with a 10 amp. Okay, get that sucker in. Now it's unplugged, so the horn won't blow, but Haley, go ahead and push on the horn. Okay, we're here clicking now. Go ahead. I feel it too, this one right here. Okay, you can stop. Okay, so what does that tell us now? Well, it tells us we definitely had a blown fuse. Let's go back over. Let's take our test light. Let's go back over here. I'm going to set you guys up so you don't get dizzy. And now I have a good feeling about this one is going to be fairly easy to diagnose. Let me put this in here. Let's get our test light. We're going to just hook, or I don't know, I guess you call it, we're going to hook it up. We're going to go this ground, which I still have the pin in. Let me get the flashlight. Oh, let's turn that on right here. There we go. Maybe you can see a little better. We're going to hook this side up. That's our ground. Make sure that this does not touch now. And I'm gently just going to hold it on the terminal, and we should see our test light light up when Haley hits, hopefully we're going to see it, when she hits the horn switch there. Go ahead, Haley, honk the horn. Excellent. Okay, let off. You're making it do that, right? Let off. You're off? Yeah. Okay, yeah, don't hold your hand on it. It stayed on by itself? That was weird. Try it again. Push it. Okay. Yeah, it seemed like you must have had your thumb on it and didn't realize it. You're off now? You're off. Okay. Okay, it's getting hung up. Try it again. Or is it the switch? So to eliminate whether we have a stuck relay or the switch is sticking, something's not right here. So what I want to do is, the next best thing is, this wiper motor relay is the same as the horn relay. Let me get this sucker out. I'm just going to swap them. Look it over. Looks okay. And we're going to do that test again, because chances are, if this one was, if it sticks again, it's inside the steering wheel, behind the airbag. So let's go ahead and do this test again. Come on over here, and we can see if Haley can honk that horn just a second. And if it gets stuck on us, then we know we have to go a little deeper. All right, so let me grab my test light. All right, Hale, go ahead, hit the horn. We have to see if it's sticking. Try the other side now. All right, keep going. We have to keep doing it to make sure. What? Which side did you just do? Okay, do it 3 times on the left side then. Okay. All right, so it looks like that relay was sticking a little bit. So what we'll do now is we know we have power and ground here, and it's completing a circuit. I'll plug this in, and if the horn is bad, it's not going to blow. If it does work, well, we're all set. So everything's plugged in now. Go ahead and hit the horn.
Where?
Go ahead, push it.
Where?
What do you mean? Either side. Just push the button in the center. Okay, I hear the relay clicking, so the horn is dead. So we had like 3 issues here, basically. We have a dead horn. We got to get this replaced. We'll probably go aftermarket. We had a bad fuse, which may have been caused by the relay being stuck on, or this thing shorting out. This horn could have shorted that fuse out. So that's our issue. Let me get a replacement horn, and we'll swap this out. So to get this horn out, the old one, it's just a 10 millimeter bolt, which I'm taking out now. I put a little bit of PB blaster on there. These can be pretty rusty and snap off on you. So if you can prevent the old snap off, well, that'll prevent you from, I guess, drilling or tapping or just utilizing another hole. There are a couple of holes down here in this inner fender, I guess, where you could just bolt on a replacement. We're going to go with the aftermarket. So I don't know why I didn't get my impact for this, but I'm doing it the old school hand way. So here's our bolt, this little guy here. Put that up there, very rusty. And then what there is here is a clip that holds this harness on. So we need to push that through. Okay. All right, let me disconnect this harness. I'm gonna just cut that sucker. There it is, I pulled it through. So this is our 2-pin connector, and this is what the horn side looks like right there. So if you put positive and negative, just go to a battery source. You can jump it here and just put 12 volts to these, negative and positive. Your horn should blow. If it doesn't blow, you know it's bad. So you can also test them that way. So let me get a replacement, and we'll be right back. So here's our old horn, and we're gonna replace it with the new one here. We got the full blast. What does it say there? Extra loud, extra fuerte. You put that in your Corvette or your F-150 or maybe your Dodge Ram, I don't know, but I happen to have these two. Anyway, let me open this up, and I'm gonna show you how to bench test this thing here, and you can find out if it's working or not. So I have some test leads here on a roll. These happen to be 30 feet. These are really nice. I'll link them down below if you need a set, but it's basically positive and negative here, and you've got alligator clips on both ends. So what I'm going to do is I hook the 2 leads to our horn. This is our new horn. Doesn't matter which terminals to which. And then I have the positive hooked up here to positive, battery positive. And then I'm going to use my negative, my ground, as my like on-off switch here. So I'm just going to strike it across this terminal. This should honk. And I'm not going to hold it on there long or anything like that because I don't have an inline fuse and we don't want to melt anything. But anyway, so let me go ahead and let's test this, and then we'll put it in. Should be good. That's good enough. It's going to be loud. You see a little smoke coming off there, some sparkies. I don't need any more than that. So this thing works. Time to cut the factory connector off. I will do that because the aftermarket just has these spade terminals You see them right in here, and it comes with new terminals. I'll just crimp them on. This is a cheap do it as we can, change it and go kind of situation. So if this was a newer vehicle or a higher end dollar one, I would have gotten a factory OEM replacement and just used that factory harness. But in this case, we got to go with what we can use. So, and what I'll do here is on this stem, I will swap out, here's the original down here. I will swap out that bracket that was on here, and we'll reuse that, and we should be all set. All right, so I'm gonna start by cutting this protective sleeve off here, or back I should say, not off. I want to cut the wires, that's for sure. Not yet. I got to leave a little bit of room for the terminals, the new ones. So I'm going to cut this back right here. Cut them off like right there. The point of no return, right? Cut that to where if I had to reuse this for something, I got enough there to work with. So let's do that. Let's strip this back. If I was doing this for real keeps, I would solder this stuff on. In fact, well, I wouldn't even use aftermarket. I would just go with an OEM. So let me strip this wire back here a little bit. Here we go. That's it. All right. So we should know almost right away that this is going to work. So now I'll just crimp my terminals on. This guy. Good and tight. So I've got my bracket on, hopefully you can see that. And now all we got to do is plug our two terminals in. Easy enough. And then I'm going to test it before I bolt it down. So push that in. Push this in. Now keep in mind, if you only have a one wire horn, let's say you're working on something really old, this becomes your ground, your bracket right here. And the kit gives you a harness like this where you attach to this bolt right here, that goes there, the eyelet, and then this goes to your other terminal. So the ground goes through the body and you just have the one positive. So we don't have to worry about that in this case because we have negative and positive. Now let me get the mounting bolt in and then we'll give her a test. All right, so the bracket's in, got the 110mm bolt in. I'm going to take electrical tape and just go ahead and cover this, liquid electrical tape, I should say. Put a little bit on these terminals. I'll tape this up a little better. But what I want to do right now is go in and hit the horn. Hopefully it'll toot and we'll be all set. So let me go try it right now. We'll do it live. Walk into the steering wheel here. Give you guys a close-up because that's how we do it here on the Ozzstar Cars channel. So right there you can see where these are exposed a little bit, I'm going to, let me get that liquid electrical tape. Right, so got some of this. This is what I like. I'll link it down below. This stuff works good. There's a couple of different brands out there. Basically, it looks like black rubber cement or contact cement, if you ever use that. And all you do is apply it. This brand happens to smell nice. Got that nice strong fume action going on. Too bad we don't have YouTube smell-o-vision. But anyhow, just in case this accidentally got energized somehow, I don't know, somebody was working down here, we would be safe with that. So let me get the phone. Some bonus footage. Look, you got the optional hood flapper. Nice. Yeah, for aerodynamics, probably you get that new angle going. Beautiful. Alrighty, she's blowing good and strong now. So this little horn right here was not working, and in Delaware you got to have your horn working in order to pass Delaware State inspection. So anyhow, keep in mind, if you have power and you have ground all the way to this terminal here to the connector and this is not working, this probably is going to be your issue. It's easy enough to bench test. I showed you that in a video. You just need a 12-volt source, and you can see if it's working that way. Now, this here, this aftermarket, what do we use here? We use the Wallow Full Blast. So getting some full blast action right there. I think it was about, like, I don't know if I mentioned, but it was about 25 bucks. So that's about what an aftermarket goes for. This only had the one horn. A lot of the Dodge trucks have two. So a high tone and a low tone. I guess it makes a beautiful Hemi noise, I don't know, whatever it is. But anyway, one's good enough for this case. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Maybe you caught up in your beauty sleep. That's all right with me. Check out my other repair videos here on YouTube. I got over 300 of them, I guess, by now. And that's about it. So thanks for stopping by. Take it easy.